Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be on how you can travel often without quitting your full-time job. I'll also just quickly mention I've made tons of other budget travel videos, so make sure you go and check those out because they will also help you to be able to travel more often. So make sure you subscribe as well, click the bell button so you get notifications when I upload. I've got 7 things that I want to cover. That's not 7. So I've got 7 different things that will help you to travel more often. So the first thing is living in a country where you can travel to lots of different countries in a short space of time and for a low amount of money. I moved to the UK from Perth, Australia because I felt like I couldn't travel very often living in Perth because everywhere was so far away and everywhere cost so much to fly to. I always felt like I could only go on maybe 2 holidays a year if I was lucky, and I'd have to make those holidays quite long because we were going so far away and we're spending so much money on the flights. Whereas in the UK, you've got Europe on your doorstep and you can just go there just for a few days for the weekend and only spend 50 quid on a flight. I'm not trying to brag or anything, I'm just mentioning it for the video just so that you know how often you can travel if you live in the UK. But I think last year I must have gone away about 6 times or more, I think. It's just because the flights are so cheap all around Europe, and if you book in advance as well for summertime you can get a really good deal. So the second thing is finding cheap flights. So what I like to do is go on Skyscanner and just put Manchester to everywhere, and sometimes I do like the whole month, or I can do particular dates, and you can see where you can travel for certain prices. It'll list from the cheapest to the most expensive, and then once you pick somewhere you can always change the dates around, what days are cheaper to fly on. So Skyscanner is really good like that because you can really play around with different dates and all that sort of thing in different destinations and find a really good place to go to for such a cheap price. Third thing is sort of along with getting cheap flights is traveling on a budget. So most of the time if I'm going with Joel I'll probably stay in an Airbnb, but we always try and keep the cost quite low. So when I go on Airbnb and I see all the prices on the map, I always move the scale down to the lowest amount that it could go to, just so that I can get only the cheapest places that I can stay at, and then I'll just pick the nicest looking place and the one with the best reviews. Or if I'm going on my own, or maybe if I'm going with friends, I'd stay in a hostel, so that's definitely how you can keep costs down. Also, just not eating out every single meal. I've also made a video about how to stay on a budget whilst you're traveling, so make sure you go and check that out because that goes into more in depth about how to do that. Fourth thing is saving or putting aside money from every single paycheck. So I would get paid every month, so I'd make sure I'd always put away a chunk of money from every single month. It's a lot harder to, I guess, save long term because I pretty much would put away a chunk of money and then pay for flights, and the next pay I might put away a chunk of money, pay for accommodation. So pretty much I would spend it as I saved it, but I put that money towards holidays. So what we can do living so close to Europe is that we can fly out on a Friday and come back on a Sunday, and then we only need to take 1 day annual leave. And in the UK you get about 22 I think, or something like that, and at my work I could buy more holidays, so that's like only 1 day out of a lot of holidays. That's why I could also spread out my holidays quite a lot throughout the year and go on multiple ones, because I would always go only for a few days and only use a few days leave at a time. And along with that, it's also really good to get ones with good flight times. So for example, you don't even have to take any days if you're flying out Friday night. Like if you didn't fly out until later on that night, you could still go to work for that day, and then you don't even have to take any annual leave. You could fly out Friday night and come back Sunday night. Or maybe if you were flying out on a Thursday, making sure you were flying out early Thursday morning so that you get the most of that whole day. Or if you were flying out Thursday afternoon, only taking a half day so that you can use the other half for another holiday. So there's lots of different ways that you can go away for a short space of time without using too much annual leave. And along with that, my next tip is taking advantage of bank holidays, especially around Easter time. So in Australia, the good thing about having Easter and Anzac Day close is that sometimes I think you only need to book a couple days and you get like 10 days. This is what happened one year. I don't think it happens every year because it really depends when Easter falls. So it's just noticing when the bank holidays are and sort of taking advantage of it and only having to book a couple days leave, and then you get way more holidays. And the last point I'll mention is taking unpaid leave. I first would recommend this, but now that I've experienced it, I don't know if I'm really strongly for it. Taking a few days unpaid leave is okay, I guess, because you're only going to go without a little bit of money, but it really depends on how comfortable you are or how prepared you are. For example, when I went to Taiwan, I actually took half that time unpaid. So I only think I took 9 days annual leave and I took 12 unpaid. And I thought, you know, I'll be fine because I'll be gone for a whole month and I get paid while I'm away, but then, you know, I don't get back till a little bit after I get paid. And it actually took me quite a while to catch up on myself, and I didn't have any savings put aside. So I did kind of struggle for a little bit. So take unpaid leave only if you can, and obviously if your employment will let you, but it's also a good way if you do want to go for quite a long holiday, but you don't want that to take up your whole leave in the year. It's a good way of doing it if you can do it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you comment below if you have any tips on how you travel really often without quitting your job. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!